I'd like to start off with the Russian hacking, because that's been something that's been really big that's been going on lately, and quite honestly has been completely blown hugely out of proportion by the media. But the first thing I'd like to do, on behalf of the American people, ignore Obama's action of removing 35 diplomats, Russian ambassadors, and putting sanctions on Russia. Thank you, Russia, if you were the ones behind the hack, which may or may not be true, for exposing corruption in our political system. You did a political party a blow and gave the American people the truth, and which is something we desperately needed. You shouldn't be sanctioned. You should be given a gift for the great service that you've done this nation. How are we going to stand here and be upset with a country working in its own self-interest if they did hack the election, which there was no hacking of voting machines. There's no evidence of any of these things. The only evidence that they have is that there's a possibility that Russia was responsible for the hack of the DNC. Or the Democrat National Committee. But that's not an election. That's not the election. Everything they released is true. Everything that they said was, everything that came out of those Podesta emails, which they apparently hacked and leaked to rig our election, was crap. And not only that, in those Podesta emails, there were emails pointing to the Democrat Party rigging the election for Hillary Clinton. I mean, don't you think we had a right to know about this? Is there anything that Russia revealed to us that we would have preferred stay hidden until after the election? That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Let's try and zoom in on this. And not only that, I find it very hard to believe that Russia hacked Podesta's email, that it was Russia, that it was the Kremlin. Because, let's look into the facts of exactly how Podesta had his email hacked. First and foremost, he had his email. His password was password. I don't know about you guys, but my password is not password. That's the most obvious thing that any hacker would try when trying to get into my account is, well, I'm going to make my password password, or I'm going to make my password passcode, or something like that. Those are the first thing they're going to do. It is elementary to make your password password. Let's get real. And not only that, how they were able to get into his email was through malware. Malware is something that the user has to click on. Now, the malware he clicked on happened to be some sort of phishing advertisement that he decided to click on. This is showing more of Podesta's irresponsibility when it comes to his email server than it is Russia trying to rig our election in some convoluted scheme. The Kremlin has the power to hack, major military secrets from us. At least we think they are. There's been hundreds of cyber attacks against us. How in the world does it make sense for them to, instead of using this super advanced technology, to simply hack into Podesta's email, but instead go to this elementary, simplistic malware hack that a college student could do to get into the guy's email? Come on. Let's get real here. Do you really think, and I want the audience to be truly honest, do you really, really think that Russia is that stupid? I personally don't. Now, however, if the documents from the CIA are true and they did do it, I say shame on you to Russia, because wow, you are some just god-awful hackers. And there's no way you've been hacking major military documents or major classified information from us through your other cyber attacks in the past. That just doesn't add up. to say somebody in Russia, maybe a Russian citizen, maybe some Russian teenager sitting in his basement is like, hey, I want to mess with the U.S. today, is going to do it. That makes a little bit more sense, at least, to say, no, it came out of the country of Russia, but there's no real evidence that we have saying that the Russian government specifically ordered somebody to send a malware phishing advertisement to John Podesta to try to figure out that his password is password, hack the DNC, release information on Hillary Clinton, and elect Donald Trump the president. Now, I try to use logic quite often. That's what I subscribe to. I'm not a big fan of rhetoric, though I will use it because I know it works. Let's shout out to Machiavelli. But I'm not gonna. I mean, let's look at this logically. There's a logical fallacy called the slippery slope fallacy, which means the argument you're making is invalid. The slippery slope fallacy is when you say you have to go through all these turn of events to get. It's like. Well, because war existed in the past, it's been a slippery slope downward. So because war exists, the nuclear bomb exists. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that the first Stone Age caveman to throw a stone at the other caveman is responsible for the nuclear bomb. That's called a slippery slope fallacy. That's exactly what this entire issue is. To be perfectly honest about Russia hacking the election, our intelligence communities are really jumping the gun on what they know so far. At least it seems. Now, if there's more information that we don't have, because obviously I don't have top secret clearance, then so be it, and I'd love to see it. But as far as we know, and as far as the media knows, they don't. It's that simple. They don't know that Russia did it. They don't have access to the top secret and classified documentation on who hacked the server and who didn't hack the server. They just don't. And then the media is totally reporting on it because this is a perfect opportunity for them to jump on Donald Trump, jump down his throat, and delegitimize his presidency. Now, Joe, why would the media companies want to do that to him? Why would he do that to him? Simple. They're businesses. They're corporations. They're a lobby. I mean, think about it this way. If you had all your predictions aimed on someone else winning the presidential election, and you were wrong, and the expected results that you were trying to obtain did not happen, and you told everyone condescendingly, I might add, that it was going to happen, then why exactly would you not go on the offensive after, beyond all odds, you were proven to be lying and wrong the entire election season? That's going to lose money. That's going to decrease profits. That makes you look bad. So what's the next step? We're going to do whatever we can to delegitimize his presidency. We're going to do whatever we can to make him look like the worst president ever. We're going to report on him to be the worst president ever, so that in hindsight, we can get up and we can say, we were right, guys. We tried to tell you. We tried to tell you, and we were right. Listen